The arrogance of the invaders. They came without warning. Not a declaration, not a parley, just fire. Over the skies of Earth's colonies, alien warships descended like hungry carrion birds. Their cannons tore through defense stations, vaporizing outposts and burning orbital platforms. Civilians fleeing in freighters were hunted down and split apart, hulls rupturing in silence before igniting in brief, cruel bursts of light. The invaders, reptilian conquerors known as the Vrathul, had scouted humanity for centuries from the edges of space. They saw Earth as naive, still young in the galactic order, soft with ideals of peace. And so, when their war council decreed expansion into the Sol system, they laughed at the thought of resistance. On open channels, their commanders broadcast mockery. "Humans," they hissed, "kneel before inevitability. Your world will serve as our harvest ground. You will feed our empire with your bones." When the first orbital stations fell, they celebrated. When the colony on Luna was reduced to ash, they boasted. When they cut down Earth's envoy in front of the Galactic Council, they declared the species broken. They had no idea what they had awakened. The mockery of a broken Earth in the aftermath. Silence cloaked Earth. No response. No counter-transmissions. No demands. The invaders filled the void with their own laughter. They transmitted feeds of shattered colonies, of enslaved humans paraded in chains, of burning cities turned into trophies. The galaxy watched in unease. But the Vrathul assured them this was conquest at its most efficient. The humans, always so loud, always so proud, were now quiet. Broken, alien news networks speculated Earth would bend the knee. Scholars argued that humanity had advanced too fast, too recklessly, and now faced the price of its arrogance. Merchants and rivals licked their lips, already calculating how to seize the scraps once Earth was partitioned. And yet, behind that silence, something stirred. 3. The silence breaks it began in whispers. Unmarked fleets disappearing from deep space docks. Submarine signals under the Atlantic, encrypted in codes no alien mind could parse. A sudden blackout of satellite arrays across Antarctica, dismissed as sabotage, though no alien scouts dared draw closer to the frozen continent. Then the warnings came. On every channel, a single message repeated in dozens of human tongues. You thought us weak. You thought us blind. You mistook silence for surrender. Now you will learn what Earth hides beneath its ice. Across the stars, fleets mobilized. Carriers older than Earth's recorded alliances rose from forgotten shipyards. Dreadnoughts the size of mountains, sealed since the earliest wars of expansion, roared back to life. Human warbands once scattered, among colonies assembled under banners of blood and vengeance. But the heart of it, the dread that would redefine the galaxy, came from Antarctica 4. What slept beneath the ice, the Vrathul had studied Earth but only its surface. They had never pierced the ice-locked vaults at the bottom of the world. Beneath Antarctica, deep under miles of frozen weight, humanity had buried its oldest secret. A weapon, older than the united Earth itself. A creation not of peace, but of desperation. When humanity first reached the stars, they had found themselves fragile, prey to empires older and more ruthless. And so, in those early days of fear, they constructed Leviathan Protocol, an engine of annihilation. It was not a single weapon, but a living arsenal. War machines forged from metals that should not exist, fueled by reactors designed never to cool, bound in chains of ice until the day humanity faced extinction. When the Vrathul breached Earth's skies, those chains were broken. From the frozen continent rose shadows against the aurora, colossal constructs shaped like titans, bristling with weaponry that tore the air apart with every movement. Their cores burned like false suns under the Antarctic night, and their launch shook the planet itself. The galaxy watched as Earth revealed its true inheritance. The retaliation unleashed. The first strike was not subtle. Over Mars' orbit, the Vrathul flagship, once a symbol of invincible conquest, was torn in half by a single beam from Leviathan 01. Entire decks were vaporized. Before its crew could scream, the retaliatory fleet surged from Earth's orbit like a storm unbound. Thousands of ships, black as night and sharp as spears, dove into battle with precision only rage can sharpen. Their comms carried no pleas, no mercy, only one phrase repeated. This is humanity's answer. Vrathul ships that had once prowled colonies like predators were now cornered prey. Carrier groups disappeared under coordinated annihilation strikes. Planetary garrisons that boasted of their trophies were turned to glass. Even the mighty war cruisers of the Vrathul, vast beasts of steel, were reduced to drifting carcasses in the void. And still, from Antarctica, more titans awoke. Leviathan 02 rose from beneath collapsing glaciers, its artillery punching through fleets as though through smoke. Leviathan 03 descended into the Pacific, emerging beneath an alien armada to crush it with pressure and fire. The Earth itself seemed to roar with fury. The climax of retribution. The galaxy trembled. Where once suns shone over Vrathul-occupied space, they were blotted out by human fleets. Entire sectors turned dark under the shadow of dreadnought formations so vast they resembled night devouring the stars. The final blow came at the Vrathul throne world. The invaders had fortified it with fleets, planetary shields, and orbital cannons. They had boasted no force in existence could breach it. But when the Leviathans arrived, the war was already over. Their weapons cracked shields like glass. Their beams pierced the crust itself, boiling oceans and tearing cities apart. Entire continents of the Vrathul homeworld sank beneath firestorms, the screams of their empire echoing into the void. And in orbit, as the last Vrathul flagship tried to flee, human dreadnoughts closed around it in silence. They did not fire immediately. They allowed the enemy crew to see, clearly, hopelessly, that there was no escape. Then, with one unified barrage, they reduced it to dust. It was not victory. It was erasure, Sevims, aftermath of silence. When the fires dimmed, the galaxy did not cheer. No council celebrated. No empire spoke of opportunity. Only silence. Worlds that had mocked humanity now locked their borders. Traitors who once dreamed of Earth's downfall now refused to speak its name. And across the stars, in every shadowed corner, a new whisper spread like plague. Never provoke Earth again. Survivors of the Vrathul carried the tale, broken and trembling. They spoke of titans rising from ice, of fleets so vast they drowned constellations, of a vengeance so cold it burned. They spoke of patience mistaken for weakness, of silence that hid not surrender but wrath. And so the galaxy learned. Humanity's patience is vast, but their vengeance is infinite. Final whisper, in the ruins of the Vrathul Empire, one alien scholar recorded the last words of a dying commander. They were not soft. They were not blind. We woke what should have never stirred. Pray your kind never does the same. And with that, silence returned. The silence of a galaxy now too afraid to speak. The silence of worlds that understood what slept beneath.